Howdy folks, Zethios here, and welcome back to Tyranny. When last we left off, we had taken Ascension Hall, but then we got teleported up to the top of the spire. And so, let's figure out why this happened. Lantry, is this? Lantry looks out to the horizon, wide-eyed with excitement. Yes, this must be the mountain spire. When was the last time? Lantry's eyes look down over the ledge. Dumbstruck by the vertical plunge, Lantry backs away from the edge. I may need to retch. I may need to vomit. This is certainly a change. The wind ruffles the feathers in her hair, and Verse quickly smooths them down. A damn cold change. She peers over the edge. Think I could land on my feet if I jumped? Not that it would matter for long. Kairos, be merciful. What now? Barrick spins around on his feet, looking about, trying to take in as much as he can through the narrow visor of his helmet. Either way you look, mountains rise up along a distant horizon. The rivers and forests below bring them to mind maps of Indrian's Well, and you quickly trace the Matani, the Irinev, and all the numerous waterways of the region. Higher than you imagined it, this is indeed the pinnacle of the spire at Vendrian's Well. How did we get all the way up here? Ari's strange to stand up, clutching her side. More importantly, how do we get down? The fifth eye aims a sharp glare at Ari. The Vendrian guard must be rounded up and conscripted. The disfavored must be run down. Barrick, much as I would relish the opportunity to fight alongside the disfavored right now, I cannot begin to imagine the chaos unfolding beneath our feet. Barrick clenches his fists with a squeal of metal and turns away. So we can ask to send word to the voice of Narat that we were successful. So we can claim this place. This is now an extension of Tunan's court, and all combatants must leave. Or enough bloodshed for one day. I think that Zethios is caught up in the moment of this. And he demands that it's just, the adrenaline of battle is gone. And so, enough bloodshed for one day. That much sounds sensible, at least. If we're to understand what just happened, we need to drop anchor on this battle and regroup. And I demand an amputated concubine and a bejeweled cockpiece. What the You cannot simply order the chorus to stop fighting. Better like teaching Greving Ash to smile. Fine, then go ahead and just send word to the voice of Narat that we are successful. Our glory overfloweth. We would happily carry such good tidings to the Archon, but this humble servant cannot fly. Besides, the voice is a master of all matters magical. I highly doubt whatever just happened escaped his attention. Alright, we're going to say, agreed. Anybody witnessing what just happened knows the edict is over, but you should report to Narat and return with any news he has for me. Head through that portal. Point to Ari. We hand her a note. The parchment will survive the impact. Oh my god. No, we're not doing that. Alright, just option one. We're not throwing her off off the freaking spire. Good lord. No, we're not doing that. No telling how stable it is, but look closely and you'll see images of Ascension Hall in the haze. Well, if you have trained eyes, that is. Of course. Even if it's not that stable, the alternative is jumping, so what do we have to lose? By Kairos' iron grip, how did the fifth eye taps his mask in a semblance of deep thought? The currents of magic flow as fire to our eyes. Strange that you saw this first. So you can send our compliments to the voice of Narak, glory to Kairos, tell the Archon Singers I'll be watching, we'll salute. We'll say glory to Kairos. Keep watch over Vendrian's Well for us. Consider these lands a gift from the Archon of Secrets, as well as an act of mutual self-interest. If these lands are court-controlled, the law-abiding disfavored will think twice about using this valley as a staging ground for fear of offending your master Tunan. It has been a pleasure in the loins to watch you fight, good Fatebinder. Thanks, Fifth Eye. The voices will be most pleased. With the edict resolved, our purpose is clearly in focus. The disfavored must be slain. Ebb. No doubt, I'm the very definition of an enemy of the Overlord. I didn't just resist. I led others into resistance, so I know what's about to happen. But I know when I've met my match, and like most folk, I'll do whatever it takes to live. If you will show me mercy, I will pledge my life to you, good Fatebinder. Tidecaster bows on one knee, lowering her gaze. I know I'm an oathbreaker, so my word isn't what it used to be, but I promise if you spare me, I will serve you well. So we could say, serve me well, and all can be forgiven. Why could I possibly trust you? My mercy has a price. Don't know what that means. That sounds shitty. I'll let you live. I'll regret it, won't I? Or we can just execute her. Now, unfortunately, we know that their possibility of companion. I guess we can just kill her now and not have her as a companion. But that kind of seems baseless of me to do. And especially since this is the first playthrough of this game, I kind of want to keep as many companions as I can get. And I don't know if this is a full party or not. I don't know if we can have her in the party right now, or if we have to choose between people. And having another mage would be very, very helpful because the magic in this looks cool and it looks very effective if used properly. So I think we'll just say, serve me well and all can be forgiven. If you'll have my fealty, it is yours. I, Ebb of the Tidecasters, do hereby pledge my life and loyalty to Zethios. She dips in a formal bow. I will serve and obey so long as you have need or want of my skills. Alright, so it is a full party. We need Barrick, unfortunately. With who we have.
I will return to our holdfast at once.
So...
At your service.
Dang damn it. Out of all the people... Like, I want Lantry's perspective in this place, because it's a very magical place. Same thing with Ebb. And Barrick and Verse's insights into this place are not going to be that useful in my thinking. Is how I'm trying to justify it. So I'm thinking that we... gosh. Take Verse out.
Goodbye to you too.
Put Ebb in. You gonna say anything? Alright, fine. I'll say it. Vindrian's well has fallen. For the second time since the conquest began, Kairos' armies take the citadel from its defenders. With your help, the Vindrian Guard rebellion has been crushed. Having taken Ascension Hall with your Scarlet Chorus allies, you satisfied the terms of the edict. You and the forces of Kairos are free from the Overlord's death sentence. With the threat of execution no longer looming overhead, the Overlord's armies turned their attention away from the Citadel and toward each other. The tensions that flared over the long siege reached an explosive crescendo as the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus armies clashed iron and bronze in a hasty, disorganized battle. After a brief exchange that left his soldiers bloodied, Graven Ash withdrew his army from the valley, pulling the disfavored back to their secure fort in the Blade Grave. Once his army finished licking their wounds, the voices of Narat ordered the Scarlet Chorus to gather in the Stone Sea and prepare for war, this time against their former allies. The Archon of Secrets instructed his soldiers to respect your lawful claim over the spire. Though a few greedy stragglers still lurk in the valley, the Scarlet Chorus were content to leave your stronghold uncontested. As days passed, the wounded and injured were nursed to health. You explored your strange bastion and planned your next steps with careful deliberation. So we have a castle now. Interesting. As word spreads that the Scarlet Chorus and Disfavored turned on each other, factions once resolved to bend the knee are inspired instead to continue fighting. The Archon's feud has heralded the collapse of Kairos' offensive. Tunon, the Archon of Justice, observes the chaos and discord spreading across the land. The Archon summons his Fatebinder to return to the court of the bastard city and report on his actions in Vendrian's Well. Fifth Eye, our petty squabbles over a delayed siege have no doubt evolved into a respectable civil war. The voices of Narat will want to discuss the matter. But now he's pulled back to the basic cacophony. I suggest you don't keep him waiting. We can say I'll join him as soon as I speak with Tunon. Tell the voices of Narat he owes me. Ash was clearly more qualified to run that siege. The voices will be patient. Not to say the voices will be patient. I'm tired of both of them. You don't know him at all, do you? The Fifth Eye chuckles to himself. Be seeing you, Fatebinder. The dizzying energy from the spire falters. Whatever force awoke the powers that reside here gutters and fades. Through a faint hum persists in the sculpture at the center. What? Stepping past the portal, almost to the edge of the spire, Fifth Eye lets out a squeal of panic. My exit vanished. It was just there. You can look around for a solution. Calm down, I can fix this. Yeah, let's just look around. The humming from the curious sculpture pulses and builds in volume, as if to draw your attention. Alright, let's have a look at Ebb. Alright, Ebb. So you are Gravelight. So yeah, mage, of course. Magic Staff is your big weapon. You have lore, and you have magic skills, Gravelight, Lightning, and Tidecasting. And does he have magic skills too? Okay, Illusions, Life, and Vigor. Okay, so there's like 3 big magic skills. And okay. That helps us out. Alright, Gravelight is accuracy and wits. Lightning's wits and quickness. Tidecasting is might and wits. So wits covers all of them. So let's get that up to 15. And then lightning will go with quickness. Those will be the 3 points we put in that. We have 3 points here. Go ahead and go Arcane Missile. Bonus to frost damage. Leaving them to... Oh my gosh, that's horrifying. So water wraps around someone's head and they slowly drown inside it. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Let's do that. Alright, so afflictions applied to Ebb have their durations reduced. Regain a bonus to frost. Bonus armor when wearing light armor. Lift a target into the air and violently throw them to the ground, dealing crush damage, or cause each enemy in a cone to trigger an explosion. Phones take arcane damage and a portion of their lost health is drained back to Heb. I like both of those. We'll go with the lift people in the air and throw them down. First. Okay. Dawns of Ascension. So, we have a new missive. So, Zethios, the Archons inform me that the recapture of the Citadel from the Vendrian's insurrectionists continues apace, that they wrote me separately of their divergent tactical intentions engenders no small concern, but I trust now in your efforts. May your good judgment see you through the coming confrontation with glory and success and back to the safety of our court. Tune on the adjudicator, Archon of Justice. We can thank him, express concern, or frustration. I guess we just thank him. Alright. Archon Tuna, as always, your words fortify me against the imminent difficulty and strife. I eagerly anticipate returning to your hall. Reasonable discussion of the Overlord's legal code appeals greatly after the discord of this campaign. Sure. Send it. Ooh. What? Here we go. So we have Spire Management. So Mountain Spire, mysterious device. We have recruits. Interesting. We have like resources that we can spend. I think these are things that we just have. We have power. We have maintenance. We have edicts. Edict of stone. Edict of fire. Edict of storms. No edict. No edict. So this like make us look at what different edicts are still in place. Alright, in the year 430, Kairos proclaimed the edict over the citadel, the contested lands. It was a solemn duty to protect the citizens of our empire, blah, 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 blah. Let those in their burning arrogance hold tightly to this lore be consumed by our wrath. Therefore, let the fires of Tyranny rise up and consume them for as long as forbidden knowledge lies within the heart of the Lone Citadel. Okay, so that's going on to this day. Edict of Storms. Let those who call themselves unbroken, who embrace the chaos of war in defiance of our order, be broken in the storms of our rage. Let the storms rage until the last blade be broken, or the line of Regent falls. In the Edict of Stone, so the Archon Cairn, which was the Archon of Stone, rebelled against the Overlord, and I think he's the leader. Yeah, he's the leader of the Earthshakers. So he proclaimed an edict upon the realm of Azure. The foundations of Azure are shattered and life drained from the land while he still lives. So as long as he is alive, that land is like that. As long as there is forbidden knowledge, everything's on fire. As long as there's rebellion here, there'll be storms. So there's 2 regions that don't have an edict, including our own. That's interesting. We have a lot more of these. We have Sigil of Force, which we found. Do we have any more? Distant Impact, right? Focused Intent. Okay, yeah. So we just found one more of those. That's fun. Alright, the Vengerian Guard we've gained full Wrath on. And I didn't think there was going to be any other way. I gotta figure out how to, like, deal with those. Alright, so Teleporter brought you to the top of the mountain spire. Shut off, left you stranded atop the pillar. Perhaps a strange device at the center might hold the key to activating it once again. So let's have a look, shall we? Look at this place. There's Verse. Able to kind of just look around. To the east, you can see deep ashen clouds surrounding the burning library. Look at this place. This place is freaking beautiful. To the west, you see the shining spire of Lathan's Crossing. Alright, I guess we'll just talk to the middle here. We see this highlighted, and there's a lot of things across it. On closer inspection, a series of symbols carved around the base of the structure come into view. Yep, those right there. One symbol pulses with a blue-white glow. Right there, the pattern resembles the glowing lines of light seen on the floor of Ascension Hall moments before you found yourself transported above the clouds. As you stare at the symbol, the chill of the wind abates and your chest swells with warmth. The air finally feels welcoming, your lungs sated at last. I'd be careful going any closer. This whole tower is humming with energies that we don't understand. Lantry holds his quill poised above a sheet of parchment with anticipation. Now, I didn't say back away. Let's find out what it does. Just be cautious. Ebb. I feel power running through this place. Ebb surveys the surroundings, her gaze sweeping to the object at the center. You can sense the magic of the spire even from down below. But up here, this close to the axis of the spire, the deluge of energy is numbing. Barrick, I feel dizzy. Do you feel dizzy? Barrick massages the brow of his helmet, causing a howl of grinding iron to echo across the expanse. What is this thing? The surface of the stone edifice trembles at your words. For a brief moment, the solid rock undulates the same motion as a quiet pond rippled by rain. An echo bounces back from afar, your voice distorted and unfamiliar. Is this thing? Your voice. For a moment there, it sounded like song. The sculpture is once again still. There is a rush of warmth through your body, a jolt of innervation that steadies your balance. A barrage of tactile sensation floods your mind as you feel footsteps and wind, but not on your face or your limbs. A moment later, the flood of information begins to make sense. You are feeling the wind against the spire, and even the weight of your own feet, as if the spire were a second spine. With this connection made, you feel your awareness pull from this place, not as a traveler, but as one glimpsing the world from impossibly far away. In this moment, there is nothing you cannot see, though you see it nearly all at once in a flood of sensation that is difficult to parse. You see a spire at the crossing of an ancient stone structure, two walls extending off into the distance. At the base of this eternal spire, settlers and merchants act in every way unconcerned, toiling under the observation of unforgiving taskmasters. As the shadow of the spire falls over them, the mood changes. The settlers pause in shared unease and look up to the sky, toward you. Though you haven't seen it in person, you are certain this is a vision of Leithan's Crossing, for nowhere else are there tearsmen brave or desperate enough to settle at the intersection of bane-ridden old walls. Near this settlement, built at the joining of the ancient walls, you see a breach in the massive masonry, cleft into the forbidden, hidden realm within the old walls. Alright, so we can leave and get closer to the spire, or we can drift into the old walls entrance. Sure, let's head in there. This seems to be where it's pointing us toward, the forbidden hidden realm. Shadows envelop you, muting all sound and vision with slight delay. There is a feeling of perversion or wrongness. Whatever arcane power is allowing your senses to drift free of your body seems to falter in this place. Figures haunt the stone halls, drifting emanations of cloud, claw, and fang. They pay you no heed, but you fear them all the same. In the depths of this forbidden place, the deepest chamber is bathed in light. An arcane symbol illuminates the floor, though the details hurt your eyes when you focus. With a gentle tug, your focus pulls back to a new horizon, though it takes you a moment to recognize it as Vendrian's well. You've returned to the awareness of your immediate surroundings. The effect leaves you unsteady on your feet. Alright, drift closer to the spire. The spire feels similar to the one you now occupy, though instead of radiating arcane life, it reeks of dust and crumbling stone. A branch withering once pulled from its tree. It reaches for you with a barely perceptible tug. The link between you and the spire recedes. The arcane bond is still present, but the mystical energies for the moment are quiet. Your body flooded with excitement and fatigue, it's unclear whether the mystic connection is strengthening you or siphoning. The tower offers nothing by the way of answer, and you know that asking would only yield more silence and mystery. Whew! The deluge of sensation is over, but the positions of the other spires still linger in your mind. From your vantage point atop the mountain spire, you can easily spot the mysterious structures, each of them rising high above their distant surroundings. And the portal's back on. Did you sense that? Lantry signs a long sigil in the air, squinting at you as he works his cantrip. The ripples are everywhere. When you move, the magic of this place stirs and churns. That portal over there, Those burning braziers, they all glow more intense as you approach. I think it's responding to your presence. Barrick. Hate to interrupt the wool gathering, but did you just resolve one of Kairos' edicts, which is at least as remarkable as ascending a spire? Am I the only one who thinks they might be related? Barrick plants his feet and crosses his arms. As the lawful holder of this spire, it is your duty to find out as much about it as possible, and that includes understanding edicts as well. If you forget your responsibilities, it'll be only too happy to remind you. Fifth Eye, speak with me after you see Tunon, Fatebinder. The disfavored need to be shown their place. If a dog acts up, you use a firm hand to put it back down. If we are to succeed in the tiers, we must work quickly. I will be waiting. Come on, don't hit dogs. What's wrong with you? Although that's kind of one of the lesser of the Scarlet Chorus's crimes against morality. Alright, so we gotta travel to Tunon's court. We've gained access to Haven. The region spire is attached to Aldwell's. Travel there and find a way to gain access to the spire. And Tunon reads, so we gotta go back to the Bastard City, and we have another place to look at. We can go through there. Or we can talk to people. Spire rest bonus, +5 all skills until next rest. Okay. Interesting. It's got a little time in this episode. Let's see if we can talk with some people. And by talk with some people, I mean me talk in their voice. Since we just did a little bit of that, I'm going to take a quick little drink of water just to freaking get some moisture back into my throat, because blah. Be right back. Alright. Verse, do you have anything to say?
So, the Scarlet Chorus and Disfavored are at each other's throats. Can't say I didn't see that coming, but the Archons might have waited until one war was over before they started another.
True. Alright. So... you think I made the right decision, Verse?
Fighting with the Scarlet Chorus? I'll never doubt yourself for backing the winning team. The Chorus has the best chance of succeeding in the tiers. For all their skill, the Disfavored are too stubborn by far. Who can say? War is all about compromising your morals, deciding who lives and dies. What seems like a mistake turns into your greatest call down the road. I'll say this much. Our time together is anything but dull. My blades are yours for as long as you'll have me.
That's nice to know. Noted. Do you have any questions?
What do you need?
I find myself in need of an accomplished killer. Yeah, I don't know about that. Here to duel. What do you think of those who define Kairos' authority? Let's talk about their connection with Barrick. It seems strange.
You've just got to know, don't you? I suppose there's no point in hiding it. Barrick and I are siblings. We share a father, if little else.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. That's interesting, Pam. All right. So they're half brother and sister.
I try not to think too much about some northern merchant dropping anchor in my mother's port, but it happened, and the fortunate result stands proudly before you.
How did you two even become aware of this?
There were a lot of lazy days during the conquest, and among other things, I spent my off hours using messenger birds as target practice. You should have seen Ash's anger when he heard that was going on. One day, I snagged a bird that flew from the hands of a proud northern daddy. The missive was about the goings-on at the family farm. I recognized the name and handwriting from a note in my mother's belongings. There weren't too many people named Barrick in the army, so tracking him down was no challenge. I cornered him in camp, and we shared a few heated words. Some blackmail, even.
She tried to extort rings from me, and I was having none of it. Not even Graven Ash would think less of me for our father's indiscretion.
I like your confidence, but my ring belt is feeling a little light these days. Maybe you want to take me up on that offer, or I can start whispering in disfavored ears. Think about it.
Have you noticed any significant impact verse?
I've asked myself about that several times, but unfortunately I don't have what you'd call a definitive answer. The Northerners put a lot of meaning behind family and blood. Seems arbitrary to me, but I don't want to discredit it entirely. There have been times when I acted strangely on the battlefield and could find no reason why, or gotten distracted and had thoughts I couldn't explain. I suppose there's no telling for sure, but if I had to guess... yeah. Sometimes I get messed up in my head, and learning I had a brother has helped me understand that better.
And what about you, Barrick? How's this affected you?
Well, Verse has a nasty habit of jabbering in my ear and making this war intolerable. I plan on parting ways and returning to the north at first convenience. My father will answer for his infidelity. Beyond that, I am happy to consider myself in every way unaffected. My superiors once accused me of having an impulsive streak, but I have worked to suppress it at every turn.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing great at that, Barrick.
When you go back home, send Father my fondest greetings and thanks. If he hadn't gone to ground on my mother's dry dock, I might not be here today.
My heritage was a point of pride and distinction before I met you, Verse. Not that you would care.
Alright, do you guys even like each other?
I've tried to get along with that ironclad knot of repression, but it would seem he's having none of it. Good riddance, then. The war's tossed us together, but nothing says we have to keep that going. The most we do for each other is try not to get the other one killed, which is more than you can say for most disfavored and Scarlet Cores.
Alright.
What do you need?
What do we need? Do we need to talk about anything else? Not really. That's a good conversation to have. Alright, let's talk to Lantry.
At least in theory, I'm supposed to be observing history and not getting myself wrapped into it. All the same, this is the thrill of a lifetime. Rarely does one stand so close to monumental moments in the making. For the moment, the Scarlet Chorus could be considered an ally. Let us hope the Archon of Secrets continues to find you entertaining enough to remain friends. The disfavored, on the other hand, will be a certain threat. The Civil War has removed Ash's pretense to play well with others. So, I must ask, are you planning on taking sides in the Civil War? Or do you have other plans?
Yeah, we're definitely not... We don't care. The fact that they're fighting each other really sucks for the realm, but choosing sides isn't going to be helpful. And so we serve the Archon of Justice. That much has not changed, yeah.
Dutifully spoken. It is Tunon's duty to arbitrate matters between the Archons, so this rift between Ash and Nerat certainly falls under his jurisdiction. And here you are, thrust in the middle of the dispute. No doubt the mighty adjudicator will be relying heavily on you to get to the truth of the matter. Whatever you do next, consider that many eyes will be upon you, for you have both delivered and taken away the Overlord's edicts, and few will know how to make sense of the latter. You are an exception the Archons cannot afford to ignore. They will likely aim to control or destroy you.
Have you heard of edicts being broken before?
Most of Kairos' edicts were either worded to end in a manner of the Overlord's choosing, or the edicts have simply continued in perpetuity. That's not to say there haven't been stories of broken edicts. They're just uncommon. The oldest is, I think, Golbraith and the Edict of Sorrows, and that tale dates back to around the year 110. Aside from you, the most recent was the Edict of Twisting Grasses, back in 380. In all these stories, Kairos' edict very clearly gives its victim a single way to escape, and someone manages it. What's never happened is the pure abatement of an edict, like using a spell of warding or cancellation.
Alright. Let's see if we can talk about anything else. So what's on your mind? Did you want to discuss matters of the present, or would you prefer a more scholarly rant? We can discuss current matters or questions. Go into current
Of
matters.
course. How can I help?
We can ask what his thoughts about everybody else. Taking a lot of notes. Anything about the region? Yes, you're taking a lot of notes.
All kinds of things. My mind is old. Memory's a sieve. Keeping track of you, noting what I hear of the war, scribbling down reminders to myself, that sort of thing.
Are you spying on me? Or is it safe to be writing on your arms that much?
Oh, certainly not. But it depends on the ink I'm using. Too much cerulean and I can't sleep. But just the right amount, and I can write all night. The red ink will give you swamp bottom if you drink it, but absorbed through the skin, it'll make you taste colors and smell music. Speaking of which, I should change out my tip.
Okay, Lantry.
I use 3 kinds: sepia, cerulean, and a red that's never the same shade. My recipe needs work. I like having 3 colors, but they also provide different states of mind for writing.
Let's talk about something else. Questions?
I am nothing if not a semi-reliable font of knowledge. What did you want to discuss?
So we can ask about the School of Ink and Quill. They say sages know all sorts of things. What can lead to that line of questioning, I wonder? Discuss arcane matters, more about himself. I'm intrigued. So they say sages know all sorts of things.
I know everything, except for who's been saying that. What's on your mind?
Can you teach me about history? Know anything about Spain? Or about the Beastmen? I think we know Beastmen better than Lantry would, because we were raised by them. Oh, you've recently, like the Spire thing was talking about the Bane area, wasn't it? Or something. Something recently had Bane in it. To know anything about the Bane? A shame. Sage Cloven Klaus was reduced to a pile of ash. Man knew all that's been written on the subject. Most of what we know is summed up in the name. The full term for them is Mage Bane, and there's good reason for it. They'll prey on anything that moves, but they'll show favoritism toward magically active humans. Okay, interesting. Alright, I had a lot of knowledge.
I know everything, except for who's been saying that. What's on your mind?
That's all for now. That's all for now. Alright, let's see, that was a lot with Lantry. Go ahead and speak with Ebb.
Salutations, Fatebinder. Or should I now call you Lord of Vendrian's Well? The Spire King? Prince of the suggestive vertical slab.
Fatebinder's fine, no need for other titles.
That is how I met you, so that's how it's going to stick in my mind. So if I might ask, what is your plan now? The edict no longer looms overhead, and Kairos' conquest of the Tears seems to be slipping, what with the armies in civil war.
Alright, so no, we're not gonna do... First order of business, I should speak with Tunon.
I would counsel you to do just that. I'm sure the events of Vendrian's Well are best explained from your mouth to Tunon's ears. Furthermore, I'd guess the Archon of Justice would want to know your take on the Archons and their divide.
Okay, then that's all I have for now.
Well, short of Tunon giving you orders on pain of death, you have the luxury of acting on your own volition. Though the disfavored are likely to come for you. Whatever you decide, I'm at your disposal.
Alright, your assistance will be most helpful.
And I am thankful to not be a bloody pile of offal in Vendrian's Well. Life under your banner will, I'm sure, prove most interesting.
Let's speak further.
What is it you need?
We can discuss matters at hand.
I have a great deal of ambivalence regarding the Scarlet Chorus. Narada's worse than Kairos, yet many in the chorus were my countrymen.
Most of them fighting because they will suffer worse indignities if they do not. So I must ask, what is your goal behind working with the Voices of Nerat?
What is your goal? None of these, really. It's a means to destroy the disfavored. I don't care. Wisseron is the mightiest of the Archons. I don't believe that. We believe Tunon, the Adjudicator, is the mightiest of the Archons. So I guess our only choice is to glare silently.
I'm not sure I find your silence on this matter of much comfort. I trust you don't wish a genuine alliance with that thing. There are much better ways to get us all killed.
I would...
Ask away.
Alright, so we can ask about magic, herself. We can talk about the tiers. Arcane Society. Ask about all the other companions we have. Alright, let's just return to our travels. And then finally, Barrick. Barrick stares at you through his narrow eye slits, saying nothing at all. The only evidence that he still lives is the steam of heavy exhalations that escape the cracks of his helm. You okay in there, Barrick? He continues to stare, unmoving. Though you can't see his face, you get the impression that his mood has darkened even further. The stench that his armor exudes has intensified. We're gonna poke him. We're gonna poke him. Barrett grabs your extended finger before you even get close. At first, you think he's going to snap your hand in half, but he releases it with a heavy sigh.
You betrayed Graven Ash, the Legion, and our northern countrymen. As far as I'm concerned, you are a traitor to this campaign.
So we can say the Voices of Nerat made a better case, accept it, which technically is true. In Zethios' eyes, they made a better case. It was my right as Tunon's Fatebinder to choose a side. Not really. Or you can stand down, soldier, or you can punch him. I'm going to ask him to stand down. Something in your tone causes Barrick to reflexively straighten his posture and stand at attention. He gradually eases his stance and looks down at his palms, horrified by his automatic response.
Let us be clear on one point. You have my blade, but my heart belongs to Ash and the North. I am a weapon bound to you only by duty. Nothing more.
Oh boy. Okay, so let's talk with everybody. So what we gotta do next time is leave, right? So we gotta go and see Tunon. And we also have we gotta find a way to access the spire at Haven. I mean, I guess. Sure. We'll do all that next time. So, till next time, this has been Zethios, signing out for now. Bye, folks.